There's a quiet magic to the hour just before dawn. The world is holding its breath, and for a moment everything feels possible, like God Himself is whispering, "Here, start fresh." That's usually when you'll find me shuffling into the kitchen, hair in a ponytail, squinting at the coffee pot as if it might judge me for needing caffeine so early. I crack a window, let the cool morning air kiss my cheeks, and listen. The birds warming up their voices, paw pads on hardwood as the cats greet me. Within minutes, the counters come alive, mixing bowls, measuring spoons, a swirl of flour that will inevitably dust my glasses. Today, though, my mind is extra busy. In a few short weeks, Tim and I will say I do, and half his family, people I adore but also secretly want to impress, are headed our way. I keep telling myself, it's fine, you got this, while another voice whispers, girl, you have so much left to do. I'm the kind of woman who bolts out of bed before sunrise. The coffee's brewing, the cats stretch, and I'm already mixing butter and sugar or touching up a paint project. I go and go, baking, blogging, designing new t-shirt art for the shop, learning to pipe fondant roses for our July wedding cake because, let's be honest, making the cake myself is cheaper than buying one. Yesterday, Tim told me half his family is driving up for the wedding. My first reaction? Wonderful. My second reaction? Oh no, everything has to be perfect. So the motor in my mind revved even faster. There's a fuse box in my kitchen that I painted in black chalk paint. Each morning it starts blank. By 9 a.m. it's covered in tasks. Scoop the litter box, vacuum the living room rug, finish the blog draft, practice fondant roses. Again, writing it all down helps, until I glance around and see what didn't make the list. Dusty ceiling fan blades, smudgy walls, cat hair gathering in the hallway like it pays rent. Most days, I think I'm doing fine, right up until I put my glasses on. Suddenly the stovetop needs wiping, crumbs sparkle on the counter, and dust has settled on every flat surface like it owns the place. Off go the glasses, and I pretend I didn't see it. It's a system, not a great one, but a system. Tim never comments on the mess, ever. Sometimes I leave the vacuum smack dab in the living room as a visual reminder to myself. I'll be elbow deep in dishes and hear the motor hum. There's Tim, pushing the vacuum in lazy figure eights, blowing me exaggerated kisses while cat hair disappears into the canister. Other nights I'm scrubbing plates, shoulders aching, and he quietly nudges me aside. He washes, I dry. No speech, no scorekeeping, just teamwork disguised as romance. I trace all this pressure back to how I was raised. My mom did everything. My grandma did even more. My grandpa once opened 3 drawers looking for a fork because he'd literally never needed to find one. Grandma always set it in his hand. I grew up thinking a good homemaker anticipates every need before anyone asks. So here I am, decades later, trying to be chef, designer, blogger, gardener, bride, and professional duster all at once. And when the baseboards aren't pristine, I wonder if I'm failing some invisible test. Here's what I'm practicing, not perfecting, just practicing. Cut the list in half. 3 big tasks a day. The rest can wait. Accept Tim's help without guilt. Teamwork is not defeat. Leave the glasses on. Clean one dusty thing I see, then move on. Remember, no one's coming to inspect my ceiling fan. They're coming to celebrate love. Because when I'm 90, I won't remember whether the stove was spotless on June 23rd. I'll remember laughing with Tim when we took turns kicking the same rock down the street on our night walk. I'll remember the look on his face when my fondant rose finally looked like an actual flower. I'll remember his family piled into our tiny living room, vacuumed or not, toasting to the life we're building together. So if you, like me, run yourself ragged, chasing perfect, pause. Breathe in grace. Breathe out impossible standards. Your worth isn't measured in dust particles per square inch. It's measured in love given and received. I want the kind of kitchen that sings louder than it shines. So I'm learning a new rhythm, even while planning a wedding, even while Tim's relatives pack their suitcases. First, I'm giving myself permission to finish just enough. If the living room floor is crumb-free and the bathroom smells like lemon soap, that's a win. Nobody is grading my baseboards. Second, I'm baking our wedding cake with imperfection in mind. If a fondant rose looks more like a cabbage, I'll tuck it under the nicer blossoms and call it rustic charm. Third, I'm anchoring every frantic day with tiny pockets of quiet. Reading one psalm before the coffee finishes brewing, stepping outside at noon for a 3-minute sun soak, lighting a candle while I fold laundry. Those pauses are the stitches that hold the whole quilt together. And you know what? Tim notices. Not the dust, but the peace. He'll wander into the kitchen, sniff the air and say, "It's smelling good in here." That line alone is worth more to me than a sparkling stovetop. All of this is teaching me that home isn't a finish line, it's a heartbeat. A living, breathing space that welcomes real life, flower dust, cat fur, family, and grace all at once. Now for the part I want to hold on to forever, the ending I want to remember. I can still see Grandma in her floral apron, standing at the porcelain sink that overlooked the garden. She didn't own a dishwasher. She was the dishwasher. Elbows deep in warm bubbles, steam curling around her face. She'd hum, "Great is thy faithfulness," like it was a secret between her and heaven. The back door stayed propped open with a chipped brick, letting in the murmured song of cicadas and the sweet smell of tomato vines. Every once in a while, a summer breeze would lift the edge of the lace curtain and carry that hymn through the hallway, past the ticking clock, right into my little chest. Her kitchen would never have graced a magazine cover. The linoleum floor was yellowed from years of feet and spills. Forks occasionally landed in the miscellaneous drawer beside rubber bands and grocery receipts. But love echoed off every cabinet door. It rang in the clink of plates, the scrape of a wooden spoon, the soft whistle of her breath between verses. Somehow, those ordinary sounds stitched themselves into something holy. And that, more than polished counters or catalog perfection, is what stayed with me. That's the legacy I want to leave behind. Not simply a home that shines, but a home that sings. A place where the walls remember laughter, where grace lingers in the air long after the candles are snuffed out, where anyone who walks through the door can exhale and feel safe. So here I am again, chalk in hand, mapping out tomorrow on the old fuse box board. Scoop the litter box, practice fondant roses, hug Tim's family when they arrive, letting the doorway become a welcome instead of a checkpoint. And most importantly, breathe. Because when I'm 90, I won't remember whether the baseboards were dusty. I won't recall how many crumbs hid beneath the toaster or whether the towels matched the bath mat. I'll remember Tim's laugh echoing down the hallway, the gentle chorus of our cats purring at our feet, and the quiet assurance that love lived here, unapologetically and abundantly.